He wakes up before sunrise. Not because he's disciplined. Because the job starts at 6:30. His hands are already tired before the day begins. Cement dust under the nails. Back pain that doesn't announce itself anymore, it just stays. He earns in a day what many people spend on a single meal delivery. And yet, somewhere in the same country, someone started with almost the same salary, and quietly ended up as a millionaire investor. Not through luck. Not through inheritance. But through something far more uncomfortable to hear. The system didn't change for him. He changed how he understood the system. Right now, this contrast is getting sharper. Prices are rising faster than wages in most economies. Savings accounts quietly lose value in the background. And the gap between working for money and making money work is no longer theoretical. It's visible in real time. So the question is not inspirational. It's mechanical. How does someone move from daily wage survival to owning assets that generate income while they sleep? The answer starts in an uncomfortable place: time. For a daily wage worker, time is directly exchanged for money. 1 hour equals 1 payment. No hour, no income. It is immediate and unforgiving. Now shift the lens. The investor's first breakthrough is not money. It is delayed consumption. Instead of spending everything earned, a portion is permanently removed from daily life and converted into ownership of something that can grow. A business. A share. A fund. A claim on future earnings. At first, this change is invisible. Saving $5 a day doesn't feel like transformation. It feels like nothing. But over months, something subtle happens. The saved money stops being just unused income and starts becoming a system. Here's where the uncomfortable math appears. If someone saves $5 a day, that's about $150 a month. Over a year, $1,800. Over 5 years, $9,000. Still not life-changing. But if that money is not sitting idle, and instead earns an average of 8% annually in a diversified market index, the numbers start bending in a way most people underestimate. The money begins to reproduce itself. Slowly at first. Then compounding takes over. Growth stops feeling linear and starts feeling uneven, almost suspicious. This is where most people drop out. Because the early phase of investing feels pointless. The returns are too small to emotionally justify the sacrifice. And so they stop. They spend again. They reset the clock. Meanwhile, someone else continues quietly. Not aggressively. Not with perfect timing. Just consistently. And after 10 to 15 years, the difference is no longer subtle. It becomes structural. One person still trades hours for wages. The other no longer depends entirely on time for income. But there's a twist here that gets ignored in motivational versions of this story. Income alone is not the real separator. Behavior is. Two people can earn the same wage. One upgrades lifestyle immediately. The other freezes consumption growth and redirects increases into assets. When income rises, expenses usually rise with it. A slightly better apartment. A slightly newer phone. A slightly more comfortable life. Economists call it lifestyle inflation. In practice, it feels like progress. But financially, it often cancels progress entirely. So the millionaire investor outcome is not just about investing. It's about refusing automatic upgrades. That sounds simple. It isn't. Because everything in the environment pushes the opposite direction. Advertising, social comparison, even subtle pressure from family and peers. And yet, when you zoom out over a decade, the pattern becomes brutally clear. Wealth is rarely built by high income alone. It is built by the gap between income and ego. Here is the irony. The system rewards patience, but sells urgency. It rewards long-term thinking, but promotes short-term satisfaction. And most people are trained for the exact opposite of what compounds wealth. Now zoom out further. This isn't just about one worker becoming an investor. It is about what happens when millions of people gradually learn the same mechanism. Capital starts concentrating not just in corporations, but in individuals who understand compounding early. The divide is no longer just rich and poor. It becomes time rich and time poor. Those who must work every day to reset income, and those whose past decisions quietly keep paying them today. But even that is not the final layer. Because markets are not stable machines. They are emotional ecosystems. They rise on optimism, fall on fear, and reward those who can stay invested when others panic. Which leads to an uncomfortable question. If wealth is mostly a function of time, behavior, and emotional control, why do so few people manage to hold the process long enough to see it work? And if they do understand it early, the real challenge is no longer building wealth. It is surviving yourself long enough to let it compound.